That's the boss episode number
46, Doug.
All right.
Meet Doug, birds behind the camera. We have another special guest going on today. Introduce yourself, Mr.
Let's get strange.
Which camera am I looking at, guys?
This one.
This one.
That one.
Okay,
That one's important. This is just for...
So we'll delete this. We just let some people get the inside ahead of time.
Okay, so only you guys
Only me said that. You guys are important. Jesse,
No, I
you're
said
important.
they're important.
Okay.
For me.
Hey, yeah, Sam Strange, co-founder of Glaxon, a new brand you may or may not have seen, but yeah, neighbor. I'm a neighbor now.
You are a neighbor.
Welcome. Let me be your neighbor.
You know, I think I knew you had a British accent before, you know, because we just talk on Instagram.
He'd be sliding in them DMs. On
Yeah, but then, you know, I was caught off guard when I heard it, because only my Siri is British, actually.
How'd you guys do that? Like, my wife's got an Australian one on her GPS. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's like exotic, you know?
I know.
It's kind of
I
exotic.
feel exotic every day. I get
It's
told
kind
at
of
least 20 times.
attractive.
Last night, Siri was talking all kind of like dirty to me, and Steph just looks over at me and was just like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "I like it." It's
Do people think you're Australian a lot?
Yeah, that happens a lot because they only have like one British accent experience, which is like James Bond or Hugh Grant or Harry Potter or something like that. I'm like from the northern part of England, you know, the rough bit. So like everyone's like, oh, he's got to be Australian. He's a criminal, you know. So he's probably gonna come from
the more north you go, the less you can understand him. You get up to like Ireland, I can't understand him. Scotland,
I moved to
Scotland.
when I was a kid as well. So yeah, Scotland is a whole other thing. Like I wouldn't even survive in Scotland. So
why is that? Because you couldn't understand it?
Understand them, and they're just a different breed. I mean, Hadrian built a wall. The Roman Empire said, "Nah, we ain't going up there. We're just going to build a wall and have done with it." So walls have been around for a long time. Don't think Trump invented the wall. Okay?
Dude, you just triggered somebody. I'm sure. You know,
you just lost about 20 followers, right?
Yeah. We lost them all last week.
All right, before we let's pause for the sponsors. America Energy, thank you very much. Oh, great sound. This is the first time
Sam
trying
walked
cream
in
soda.
and he grabbed American Energy, not knowing he was going to have to drink another one.
I know.
Hour.
So
No, I'm too deep. I drank one this morning. I got
Yeah.
them at home. I got the
So
cherry
this is
cola.
number 3?
This is number 3.
Look at that.
Plus Zone. I took some Zone as well. I'm not
Look
even.
at that.
I'm not even. You know.
We're not going to be able to understand you the further we get along this podcast.
yeah, he's definitely hearing colors.
That's really good. That actually tastes like a legit cream soda.
It's different, right? For energy drink, we wanted to do something different. So
Don't speak too loud because I think some people are going to rip that off. That might be. That's one of the more enjoyable energy drink experiences I've had in a hot minute. So yeah, really good.
Word. Appreciate that. Meat, do you want to, do you have anything now that we're past the 45th president?
Well, I think
we're on
we'll get
episode
into it
46.
more. I had some, you know what, Doug?
What?
So we ran out of presidents. We always were doing like this. This podcast is, well, this show goes back 2015, 2016.
We literally started. So this is episode 46 of this version. So we've done it every
On the
week for the
podcast
last
format.
46 weeks. And it started with me with like a iPhone just holding it up. And we got up to probably like 50 episodes. And then we started filming in front of a green screen. And we made Bobby do like green screen. We'd have like a theme to every one. And it was just getting absolutely ridiculous. So we kind of had to like reset because it would take him like literally 40 hours to edit the podcast.
Hey, you're keeping you busy. Right?
Oh, dude, it was crazy.
No
So now
work was getting done, but the podcast was going out. Right?
So usually at the beginning of the show, I have like the shtick where like the 46 or the whatever the number of episode is the president. Yeah. So we would talk about the president, but we ran out of presidents last episode because Trump's the 45th. We're on episode 46. And then I go over the players, athletes.
Make a prediction. It ain't going to be Joe Biden 46.
Yeah,
so I'm just
not.
making a prediction.
should we say the pledge of allegiance? That was about accurate, right? Dude, I just saw that video. Did you see that video of him trying to say the Pledge of Allegiance?
You know the thing with the thing.
No, he goes. He literally
like,
stops.
for real? Come on.
He literally stops. He said like,
It was like I pledge of allegiance, indivisible, under God.
For real.
For real. For real.
You know the thing. The thing.
No, when he catches himself, he's like, yeah, the thing.
Let's be real. This is elder abuse because it's unfair. The guy is obviously suffering from sundowners.
He's
or
definitely-
dementia
No,
or
he
something,
really.
so-
There's something wrong with him.
Yeah, shame on Joe Biden's family if you're watching this, which you probably ain't. But you should be pulling Grandpa back into the care home because that's ridiculous. I'm going to go out
This
there
is
and
gonna
go,
be great.
46th president is going to be Dana White from the UFC. That's what I'm going to.
Whoa.
Make a
Whoa,
post.
that's a.
He's been at the Republic. I just think
He's
Dana
starting to
White-
get political.
He is, and
Isn't
he's
it interesting?
He gets shit done, guys. Sorry, are you allowed to swear on this?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's.
I did, but-
Yeah,
yeah.
you're good.
But our pastors do watch this sometimes. So Bird will, if we drop if I go on like a rampage and drop a bunch of F-bombs, I'll make them beep them out. But
Okay,
just let it flow.
I'll try and not do that. By the way, I am a good Catholic boy if you're watching, Pastor. So bless you and everything. So, yeah.
So, dude, what's up with the T-shirt? Is there any significance to that? What is that thing? Besides it's tight on your arms.
I know, it's
swole.
It's extra medium. No, it's extra large, actually. But I feel like it's a good little statement to just, legalize love and peace and freedom and riot and all this stuff in the current climate. I just, the wine splash as well. I just thought it was pretty unique.
It looks kind of liberal to me.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm a bit of an anachronism, a bit of an oxymoron.
Enigma over here. You can't even figure them out.
Sorry, mate. There we go.
Oh, there now it's.
So I'm a little bit deep. I think, and again, this is getting very political very early, guys, but I think if you can put yourself into a pigeonhole or a category of I am a Democrat, a Republican, this or that, you've already lost, because I'm an ever evolving, multidimensional being which doesn't fit in one box. I can be very pro-gun and pro-life, but I can also be pro-gay marriage at the same time, and I am straight, by the way, but just to clarify, that's what I'm saying. That wasn't with the T-shirt and everything. That wasn't like a call to action. That was just like, happily married man with children. But I just think that we should all think, not try and pigeonhole ourselves. We've gone too far over in this country. We've gone too radical on the left, on both sides. Let's come back to the middle ground. Mind your business, small government. That's the kind of guy I am.
All right. Well, this is a good segue. So, how long have you been here?
Since 2012.
Are you a citizen of the? Well, I guess your wife is a citizen.
She's American, but I am working on naturalization. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
All right, so let's go back. Let's go back and get the Sam origin story. Like, how did you get into this industry? How did you get over here? What were you doing back in the UK before you came over here?
I mean, it's not going to be like an X-Men origin story. It's not going to be that entertaining, but there is a little bit of drama, I guess. So I was born in the UK. My dad lives in Ireland, so I've lived between the two countries. He married a Spanish woman, so then I ended up moving to Spain. So I've lived all around Europe. But then I was lucky enough with the company I worked in to get an intercompany transferee visa to come over here as an executive for the company.
So did you study, did you go to school or university in the UK, or did you go right into working?
I mean, I got expelled actually, but yes, I did. So
okay.
Sorry to any former employers who didn't know that.
Wait, you got expelled from school or from work?
School.
Okay.
Twice.
Can you get expelled from work?
How'd you get kicked out?
I get fired from work.
Yeah, you get fired. Yeah. How'd you get kicked out? Come on, bro.
Well,
you got to get some juice in here.
I stole the keys to the school and I started letting myself into the movie hall and to the kitchen and helping myself, just parties and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty fun.
And what were you studying when you were there? Partying?
Everything. Yeah.
everything
but the curriculum. I was studying women and stuff like that.
Yeah. So then you started working, I'm assuming. So after you got expelled, you just started working right away? What were you doing?
After I got expelled, I went and worked in a steel factory.
Okay.
And realized that I wasn't cut for that.
Yeah, that's some hard work.
That is some hard work, especially in Spain where it's like 110 degrees anyway. So you can imagine, I was working my ass off for like €3 an hour. So it's like $3.
And how long did you do that?
About 3 months till they fired me.
I see a pattern, and we're on a roll here. Okay.
Yeah. The younger me was a bit of a prick, but I used to smoke weed when I was a kid, and I used to go in high, and I used to make mistakes, and don't do it, guys. Don't go to work high. That's what I'm saying.
Don't do drugs, kids. Stay in school.
Stay in school. Don't get expelled. Do not steal the keys to the school, and do not get expelled from every school you go to. So anyway, the point being, I then applied myself and went to college in Ireland. Was lucky enough that I got offered a graduate job. I mean, I'll be honest, school was always very easy for me. I could put zero effort in and still get the grades. And I was lucky, not on everything. Maths was like a little bit more. I had to apply myself, but I was lucky that I was just naturally gifted at something. So I got a graduate job without graduating, and the rest is history. I was once you're in, and once you get that first year's experience in the corporate world, and you prove.
So what was your first corporate job?
It was business development coordinator for a multinational chemical company in Dublin called Brenntag, which is the largest chemical distributor in the world. And I did very, very well there.
So how did you transition from that to the crazy sports supplement world?
So I ended up working for one of the world's largest retailers called Tesco. It's after Amazon and Walmart, it is the largest retailer. Depends on currency. If the currency fluctuates between euro and sterling, Carrefour might be, which is a very huge, transnational corporation as well. One of our suppliers, the parent company, bought the company which owned Gaspari. And then they were like, listen, we need someone from Europe to go over there and just, see what's going on type thing. Yeah. Read between the lines. And so they sent me over there, and that's how. Is
that because you were a bro? Like you were already working out, like you were known as the bro? Or
I think it's because they thought that I understood a balance sheet and no one at Gaspari did. So,
Well,
but no, it's just I was, I'd lived in America before. I'd been transferred already with a sister company. Yeah. They knew I liked it over there. They knew I understood the culture. I was obviously a fan of the industry. I actually took Gaspari products at the time. Super Pump 250 was my jam back in the day.
Yeah. So what year was this?
This would have been 2013.
So this is the first time Gaspari was sold. Before it was sold, before Jared bought it.
Yes.
Got it.
Correct, yeah.
And so you were basically then a Gaspari employee at that point in time?
I don't really know, because I was running Gaspari with a CFO from Ireland as well. Mm-hmm. Rich was kind of like still the president of the company, which is a bit of a ceremonial title. Yeah. As opposed to CEO of the company. He is CEO now, I believe. Yeah. And I was getting paid from Europe, but I was living here and obviously working day to day there every day, and kind of like being the bridge between the parent company and the subsidiary, if you like, which Gaspari was at that point. So
what was your responsibility there with Gaspari?
Everything apart from sales.
So marketing as well?
Marketing, there was a few people and everyone had different opinions, but I would say that some of the products that I had worked with the marketing team there were still being brought out as late as a year ago. So I think around a year ago they changed their direction, and they seem to be doing well. And shout out Troy if he's listening at Gaspari, because that's my boy, and I think he's the only guy still left there from back then. But
Troy's a good dude. He watches us a lot.
Troy is not a good dude. Troy is the dude, okay? Like Troy when I was in
DOOD?
Yeah, when I was in prison, that dude took my call every single day for like 3-4 months.
All right, so we got to get to that. So you're at Gaspari. This is like 2012. You come over. So how long are you there at Gaspari?
Until Jared bought it, basically. Because
and what year was that?
Disclaimer: me and Mr. Wheat, I should call him. We had some little
Sir Wheat.
He's Lord Wheat. He was one of our incumbent suppliers. So
yeah.
Occasionally, as you know, manufacturers make mistakes. It happens. And then my job is to obviously protect the brand's integrity. So if you are making mistakes, I have to, not pay you and do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So me and him had a little bit of, a history. So he took, great joy in sending me a text saying, don't come in next week.
What year was this?
2016, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what happens next in the life?
I decided to start my own brand. One of the things one of the amazing things about Gaspari is with being a legacy brand and such a well-respected brand in the industry, it gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about things I didn't know. I was a fan of the industry, and then I became like a little bit of a student of the industry, and then I became someone who actually knew things about the industry, and I was able to launch a brand with what I thought I knew. Turns out I still didn't know that much. I still had a lot to learn, because, I'm like, this is going to be easy.
And this is Pitbull Labs?
This is Pitbull Labs, yes, which...
and this is just you? You're just working with a contract manufacturer?
Yeah, with a manufacturer.
You were doing all the shipping yourself and everything. So everything. I remember
I outsource stuff like the label design. I'm not skilled enough to do that on Photoshop. So I work with some very skilled people, and I'd built up like a network of people, and I was lucky that I could go to someone who was still like, it's Sam from Gaspari. I still had that kind of like big brands like, we'll do you 500 units to get you running, and they assume it's going to grow. And it did grow in the end to more than that, obviously. Did pretty well with that, made a little bit of noise. I think this would have been like 2017.
Is that more of a, I know of the brand, but I don't know that much about it. So is that more of a, like a wholesale retail,
it
mom and pop shop brand?
It was fully compliant. There was no illegal ingredients at all. It was compliant. I always had ambitions of, at some stage, I think it had mass marketability. So I was going to.
So you weren't putting SARMs in your pre-workout?
That's what I know it was very trendy back then.
Okay.
2017 was the year of the SARM.
DMHA in your protein and SARMs in your. Yeah.
No, there was none of that stuff. fully compliant, cool little sexy kind of fun. It was a fun brand.
Yeah.
The Pitbull, I was surprised no one else had already trademarked that, to be honest with you, and I did. Logo was really cool. The labels looked really cool. That was doing really, really well. But then, unfortunately, I did have to go and spend a little bit of time at the president's leisure in
Okay, so what happened? So how long were you running that brand when
it was probably
you ran
18
into some
months.
trouble?
We'd got distribution into Europe. We'd partnered up with some big people. We were doing, we were doing well. Doing well.
So this is like 17 now, 2017,
2018.
2018, okay.
is when it happened.
And then what happened?
I got pulled over, as you do, by the cops for no reason, just because it's New Jersey and they felt like pulling me
Oh,
over.
defund those. What the hell are they doing?
Hey, no, let's get it straight, right? I've
kidding. You guys
lived
know
in
I'm kidding.
7 different states, and the police have been phenomenal, apart from one state, which was New Jersey, where they would just pull you over for being out after 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing out this late? I'm like, it's late? What are you talking about, bro? It's
You
11
look
p.m.
shady.
Yeah. Oh, dude, one time I was in Arizona, and I got pulled over, and the guy's like, we have a problem with drugs in Arizona. I'm like, why are you telling me this? He goes, because I wouldn't be doing my duty if I didn't ask you, do you have any drugs in this car? And I went, bro, I got 2 pit bulls in this car, suitcases. I told you I'm moving to Texas. I don't get from Vegas. I don't get where we're going with this. Well, would you submit to a heart rate test? I'm like, the fuck does that mean? He goes, I'm going to take your heart rate, and if it's high, I'm going to think there's drugs in this car. So I'm like, why would my heart rate be high right now?
Yeah,
Being
really.
pulled over with a guy shining a flashlight in America with a gun. Like, okay, bro, okay, like, let's do the heart rate. So he does it, and then he's like, well, what's going on? He's like, well, it's like 100 or something like that. Is that good or is that bad? He goes, it's pretty good. I said, right, so can I be on my fucking way or not? He goes, yes, but please do not speed again. I wasn't even speeding, but okay. The point is, I've never had that before. He put a little thing on my finger.
Yeah.
And read
That's
my
weird.
heart rate. Yeah.
All right, so what was the run-in with the law? So we were getting pulled over?
I got pulled over because I made a turn which apparently I wasn't allowed to make. Like, I went down the wrong street and I did like a 3-point turn.
Yeah.
And they were coming down, they saw it, they pulled me over. Turns out there was an arrest warrant out for me, which I was unaware of. And they took me to jail. And then when I tried to leave jail after they said you can go, they're like, no, immigration's put a hold on you now because of this. So then they sent me to an ICE center. And
Oh, shit.
yeah, they're like, oh, you can't just bail out anymore. So like, that's not going to happen. So like, you've got to either like be deported or you can fight your case. So I didn't deport myself because obviously I had my dogs. My dogs were in the car with me at the time. So they were like, again, they're always in the car. They went to a pound. My car had been impounded, and I essentially sat in like an ICE jail because for criminals, there's 2 different types.
And where is this? Is this in Texas?
This was in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was in Newark prison basically. It was in the same place they put the.
All right, so I got to dive in here for a second. So what was and feel free to answer or not answer, but I'm going to ask the question. So what was the arrest warrant that you were not aware of, and how are you not aware of a arrest warrant?
Because they'd sent a court summons to my old address from like 5 years ago, which I didn't live there anymore, obviously. And
Okay.
I hadn't seen it, so I hadn't done anything about it. So that was enough for them to do that.
What were they arresting you for?
Failure to appear to court. Failure to appear to court.
From a previous.
From an allegation someone had made that I sent a nasty text message. So.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Like threatening, like, or something like that?
No, not terroristic threats. That's a serious case. Just a nasty text message. Yeah.
And then you didn't appear to court, so they had an arrest warrant out.
Yes, for that. And then they decided that, okay, we're going to send you to ICE jail. And I went there, and I was like, to them, everyone in ICE, I was a gringo. Like, they're like, what are you doing here? So they looked at my paperwork, sending a text message like, no, you don't just come here for that. Like, you're an undercover Fed. So they thought I was an undercover cop. Like, they were like, yeah, and I speak Spanish as well. As I said, I speak fluent Spanish. So like 80% of the people in there don't speak English, they speak Spanish.
How long were you in there?
Like 4 months.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And are you like sharing cells with like people? Oh, bros, come on.
Brucey boy.
Come on.
Yeah, so
Declined.
it's funny little story. Decline. We were in cells at first. Now, I've never been arrested, let alone gone to jail or any shit like that before. So when I went in there, they put me in my cell, and my cellmate's MS-13s all tattooed
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
stuff. Like, it's ice. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you're with the violent people because you're a criminal. So, like, they put me in with the violent. And that's why people didn't understand. They're like, what are you doing in here? So I'm in with a cellmate who's, like, MS-13. You know, there's a Brazilian guy next door who murdered 2 people and is being deported. So, like, straight up, like, you know.
Thugs.
I mean, you know, nice people, respectable people, but, like, not the people I would choose to associate with on a day-to-day basis. Luckily, I spoke Spanish, because if I didn't speak Spanish, I don't really know if I'd have been good. So then after, like, 2 weeks of being in the cells, I'm waiting for my appearance in court, and, like, there's this backlog. So, like, every you know, I'm still waiting for an appearance to know when I'm going to get in front of a judge to be like, hey, there's a mistake. I shouldn't be here. So after, like, 2 weeks, they said...
And at this time, you have Pitbull Labs, right?
Yeah, it's still running.
So it's, like, running. So
Yeah.
who's running it?
No one, bruv. No one. So, like, they limit your phone calls to, like, 5 numbers a month. You can only call 5 different numbers. So my attorney, my father, Troy Johnson was one of them, and I have 2 numbers left. So I can't run a business to stop the mob running businesses from jail.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you can't ring multiple people. You can't run an entity.
Right.
So at this point, like, people are not paying their invoices.
Yeah.
Products, like, bills aren't getting paid for, like, service provider, all this kind of, no one knew where I was. People thought I was dead or something. Like, literally, I just disappeared. I'm quite an active person online and stuff.
Yeah.
So imagine I just didn't post ever again, what would you think?
Yeah.
No one knew where I was. Like, very few people knew where I was. So after about 2 weeks, they said, we can't usually do this, but because this is ICE, you don't have any rights because you're not citizens. So we're going to paint these cells, and you can't stay in them, obviously, because, you know, of the fumes. So you guys are going to be painting the cells, and we're going to put you into a dormitory. And usually we can't do this with, like, max status people because, you know, you can't really have 60 people in a, like,
somebody's
in
going
a
to die.
dormitory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kind of did happen. So they moved us into a dormitory, which was a crazy experience because you would wake up and the person who was on the other side of your bunk would be changed because they would come in at, like, 4 a.m. and snatch people out of the beds to deport them and put someone else in there before the bed was even cold. So...
How did you even sleep in that?
I didn't. I mean, I did in the end because what I started doing was, full disclosure, I started trading food you could buy on the commissary for, like, people's sleeping pills who would prescribe them in there and stuff. They try and put everyone on their own drugs, like Wellbutrin and all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah.
And you love America.
Oh, Bobby loves cocaine. So
I mean, hey, it's a hell of a drug. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, basically, like, they would have kind of, like, there was a guy in there who was a bank robber, and he was, like, 6'6" from Baltimore, funnily enough, Bodymore as he used to call it, and he had a very curious story because he was from the Cayman Islands, but he'd been adopted when he was 2 years old, and his parents had died and the house had burnt down, and all the records back in the 70s weren't on computers, they were on, like, fucking paper.
Yeah.
And he couldn't prove that he was a US citizen, so they were trying to deport him to the UK, which owns the Cayman Islands. He's never been to the UK in his life. And they put him on so much drugs to keep him, like, chill because he was a beast. So he was, like, literally, like, a vegetable. So I used to, like, trade packets of chips because he was a fat fuck. I used to trade packets of chips to get his sleeping pills and stuff. That's how I slept.
did you have a girlfriend, wife at the time?
I was going through a divorce at the time, but yeah.
And she was in the States?
Yeah.
She knew you were there?
Oh, yeah, she loved it.
Oh, dude. Oh my gosh, dude! I have so many questions. I don't even know what to. I just think we need a. Man, that sucks.
Was that the fart button?
That was the fart button. Like, man, dude. All right, so you were in this dormitory for 4 months, then, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And so, how did it end?
So I mean, there was a lot of stuff which went on. Like, as you can imagine, there was, like,
People getting shanked. And
riots and stuff like that. And I had the whole, like, treatment with a gun to the back of your head and. You know, when they do, like, a raid, you get marched out and you have to assume the stress position, you know, like you would in a war or prison or whatever. Like, and I mean, it's not a nice place. It's, you know, it's a violent place. It is a prison. You're talking about people who are felons from around the world who have nothing to, like, they have zero. Like, they are literally, they're being deported. They've lost everything. You know, it was a very miserable, depressing time. It was hard. Like, there was you didn't go outside ever. You weren't ever, you stayed in the room all the time. There was no outside.
Did you make friends with anybody?
Yeah, my cellmate. You know, me and him, we still talk to this day, actually.
I mean, I imagine the things that are going through your head, and a lot of it is just, like, survival, right? Like, it's just,
I mean, I sat there and I said that when I got out, I was going to do some big things, and I've kind of done them. But it was very hard. And honestly, if you realize that you're not made out of glass in a place like that, and I did have a fight and stuff, and things did happen, and no one fucked with me no one messed with me in a way like,
bro, let her fly. You're in jail, bro. Let the F-bombs fly.
Like no one was messing with me like sexually or nothing like that. Nothing like that happened. But yeah, there was situations.
Bro, no one said anything about that. Why you got to get?
Because that's the thing. I'm thinking of Shawshank Redemption is like the first thing I've never been to jail before, bro. So there were situations where there were like some race issues in there. More and more Caribbean people came in, Hispanics, and the Caribbeans came to me and they're like, which side are you on? And I'm like, I ain't on any side. I'm on my side. Okay, I'm the white boy. Okay, I'm the only white boy in here, and I'm on my side. As in, I don't have a problem with you. I don't have a problem with them. And they just said, well, we're all gonna fuck them up. You understand that, right? And I'm like, great, but I'm not involved in this. Okay, like I'm on my own thing. But because everyone thought I was an undercover Fed, they thought I was DEA, so they left me alone. Yeah, because the COs, the correctional officers, told them that. They literally propagated that rumor because they were scared that I was there.
So that actually ended up being a good thing for you.
Yeah, I mean, it could have got me killed, but it was.
Yeah.
I mean, but it turned out that it turned out to be a good thing because they were scared that there was a lot of drugs in there. I'm gonna be honest, there was a lot of drugs in there, and if you think that it's people boofing shit up their ass, it's not. Like the volume in there, that's someone bringing it into the prison. It's not in the visits. It's not where it's coming from. Some of it does, but you're talking like big amounts of drugs. So they thought that I was there to investigate the drugs in Newark and stuff. So
how did you get out?
I went before a judge. I spent a load of money, got attorneys, got a divorce attorney, got a fucking civil attorney, a family attorney, a criminal attorney, a fucking immigration attorney. I got all of the attorneys you can think of, and we spent a load of money. And, I got before the judge, and when I relayed the story, he released me. But then it turned out that family court had a hold on me. So when I got released, they slapped the cuffs back on and said, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to another jail now. I ended up going to like 4 different ones.
So what was, why family court?
Because it was like an issue with my wife.
Oh, geez, man. Yeah. You've had it rough.
Yeah, and then it turned out I didn't even need to be there. So they brought me to this other...
Did you have kids at that point?
No.
No
They brought me to this other place, and I sat in court, and I told him, I said, I don't know why I'm here. And the guy said, well, you're staying anyway. Next thing you know, someone runs into the courtroom with a little piece of paper to the judge. The judge goes, strange, stand up. So I stood up. He goes, yeah, you can go. And I was like, yeah, I know. I've been saying that, but I've been sat in this jail for 2 weeks waiting to get in front of the judge.
What did they think? Why did they say they were keeping you at that point?
Because when I got taken into ICE, the court case I had from when I got arrested, even though they knew I was there, they said I didn't appear again. So I was like, yeah.
I was locked up in your jail. That's why I didn't show up.
I was in another jail, as you know, so that's why I didn't show up. But then finally, when I was able to, then they decided to do this. So I got arrested in September in t-shirt and shorts. This is January. They're like, off you go in the middle of snow, 8 p.m. Just kick my ass out. Did not give me any of my IDs or my bank cards. I still never got my IDs back from them to this day.
So that's January 2019.
Yeah, I got released 3 hours away from where I was taken. It's called a dirty drop. That's where they just throw you out onto the street with nothing in the middle of the night. You can get arrested for being vagrant very quickly. I got no ID, I got no money, my phone's dead. And so by pure thanks to God, I guess, someone I knew was at the jail visiting their brother who was in the jail, and she took me back to her house, and I had somewhere to stay that night. She literally was like, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you lived in Las Vegas. I'm like, yeah, I do, but I'm here.
So what did you learn from all this? That must have been a dark time.
What did I learn from that?
All right, let's take a quick break.
Just put a British accent on, you get more followers.
Yeah.
Dude, every time I mess it up.
All right, we're back. All right, so the question was, what did you learn from that? I mean, I'm sure you started appreciating certain things more, right? Or were you bitter when you came out of there?
When I got out, it was ironic because the only place which would let me stay without an ID was a very upmarket hotel, because legally you're not allowed to stay in a hotel in the state of New Jersey without ID, but this one, which was super expensive, would let my dad put a credit card on file and have me there. And I was down the next day at breakfast. I've come out from nothing, and I'm sort of stealing like peanut butter cups from the hotel because like in jail you just grab fucking everything because like, you know, you don't know if you're going to get anything. So I was institutionalized already in that regard. So I was stealing like peanut butter cups, and I caught myself doing it. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? You can have as much peanut butter as you want, you know, like. I guess it taught me to not take anything for granted, and it taught me that how lucky and how blessed I actually, and all of us are, to have your freedom, and it's something you won't really understand. I mean, listen, let me tell you something. If you're a complete moron, going to jail is cool because, like, it's just like being at school for you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you got nothing going on in your brain. It's like it's not the physical side, which was the issue. It was the mental side. Like, it will fuck with your head because I'm used to doing whatever I want, whenever I want, really. Yeah. And, like, I'm lucky to be able to live like that. But this was like, I don't even go for a piss without permission type shit now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to ask permission to do anything. And I have to, like, be around. Just imagine having 60 people and, like, 3 bathrooms, like, all next to each other. No, like, you're never alone at any point. Like,
even taking a shit.
Even taking a shit, I got multiple people listening into it. And, you know, I'm kind of like OCD. I have to have, like, complete privacy for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it taught me to, like, you know, be a little bit rougher, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely something I wouldn't wish anyone that experience. And also with prison, like, or jail or whatever, you have like a release date. I didn't have a release date. It's like, hey, you may get released, you may get deported, you may get this, you might have to leave, you might do this. And the whole time the immigration people were telling me, oh, just voluntary deport and fight your case, because they just wanted to get me deported. And it's like they would tell, tricks are allowed. There's a saying in prison, tricks are allowed, where they can trick you because there's nothing, they can lie to you, they can manipulate you. And that's when people, again, going back into this like social unrest right now, the police aren't the issue, the system is the issue. The system is skewed. If you don't have, like, 21 Savage got arrested by ICE. Do you remember that?
I don't remember, but I believe it.
He's British too, it turns out. I thought he was from Atlanta, it turns out he's British. Point is, he got arrested and Jay-Z put his lawyers on the case. He was out in 7 days. Now he's black, but he had money. Okay?
So it's more of a class.
It's a money thing. If you've got money, you can get out of stuff. And if you don't, and it's just, unfortunately, a lot of black people don't have a lot of money. And that's why a lot of white people don't too. So that's the issue why you've got people stuck in the system. You know, I couldn't get out of the system. I'd been released by a federal judge and they kept pulling me, but they wouldn't let me get out. Mm-hmm. And then when I was finally released, ICE came back to visit me and I said, I swear to God, if you take me back to ICE, I've not left the system yet. I'm telling you, I went in and they were like checking my story out. Like, oh no, you haven't been out. I said, they thought I'd committed more crimes, like, or committed a crime or something. Like,
jeez.
Yeah.
So this is January 2019.
Yeah.
How did you get like back on your feet? Because I saw one of the questions that I had when I posted that up. Somebody said, what happened to Pitbull Labs? I think that's probably your explanation of what happened to Pitbull Labs.
That's what happened to Pitbull Labs. I spent all my money on attorneys.
What happened to the dogs?
I had to, they charged me $100 a day for keeping them.
Wow.
They're still here. They're here in Virginia.
Oh, they're here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still here.
Nice.
Yeah, like, you know, I warned the guy who had them. I said, I promise you, if they're not good when I get out, I'm either way, I'm coming to see you. So just take that as you want, bro. Like they're my family. So like those dogs mean more to me than anything.
Well, so how did you get them after you got out? So,
I just went and got them.
So, okay. So you went back to wherever they impounded the dogs.
You pay the money and you take your dogs, yeah.
Jeez. So, all right. So how did you get back on your feet?
I mean,
because you at that point you were in Vegas, moving to, right?
I was in New Jersey, yeah. But I lived in Vegas, but I lost the house and everything in it, and that's all gone.
Yeah.
So, you know,
so now you're back in Jersey.
I have nothing. I have literally like the shirt on my back. Funny story about the shirt on my back. When I first got released, and people found out that I wasn't dead and where I was, Mark Glazer from NutriBio drove down to where I was at and gave me money, cash, which I didn't have any. Gave me money, T-shirts, supplements, all that kind of stuff, like took care of me. So I got to shout him out if he listens.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, you know Mark. I mean, he's, you know, NutriBio, that's who they are. So that was much appreciated. You know, I hadn't worked out in months. I'd been running stuff before I went in, and then like just straight from like being on a cycle to now you're eating soy every day, boy. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I'd gone from like 230 pounds and maybe 10% body fat to like 198 pounds, probably like fucking 25% body fat. Yeah, very, very bad, you know, mentally, and you know, hadn't had a haircut or nothing. I looked like shit, you know. And then I just dealt with all the problems, and then I didn't know what I was going to do, and I just kind of like lived on a day. Literally, I was living day to day for a while in a hotel. I ended up having to live in a hotel for about 3 months because I hadn't got my IDs. ICE lost my IDs. They lost my file. I went to see them. Their attorney came out and told me, this is the file we have on you. And they thought I'd come over from Mexico across the border as a child, like a dreamer. I'm not even making this up. I'm like, bro, do I look like I just, like, come on, do I look like I just walked across the border? Like, come on. I came here on like multiple visas as a intercompany transferee because of my talent and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong, and they don't have any record. They didn't have any record of me, and they lost all my IDs, my passport, my driving license.
So did they eventually get you straightened out?
No. They just basically said, stick up your ass.
And so, how did you get your identity back? How did you?
Hard. It was hard. You know, that's why I had to take months figuring it out, and I had a few. You know, I had like one real good friend in Jersey, John, who took me to like the places I need to go and waited with me on his days off and helped me get back on my feet and gave me some money and stuff like that and just helped me get back up. So,
well, bro, that was actually that wasn't that. You okay, bro?
That was good. Yeah.
Okay, you weren't. That's not that long ago.
Nah, it wasn't.
So like, you seem to have made quite a transition, and like, you know, wife, kids.
20 Escalade out in the parking lot.
Yeah, Escalade, wife. Let's talk about the Escalade. Wife and kid. Let's go.
Where's the yell? I don't know.
Give him the
love.
The love. Yeah.
Hey, all right, that's because that's fucking America, guys. That's why no one like you guys like a comeback, and that's a comeback. So
all right, so talk me through this comeback. So this is in 2019.
Yeah. So then I moved back to Las Vegas, and a very good friend of mine, Jeremy, was good enough to take me in. Jeremy is Dan Bilzerian's assistant in Vegas, so like very, cool.
So you had a terrible time in Vegas, probably.
I mean, it was like it was the best of times, the worst of times, because mentally I was still fucked in the head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it took I had PTSD and stuff a little bit.
I bet.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to. I mean, I wasn't the same person anymore.
Yeah.
It changed me. It definitely like the stuff I saw it would change anyone who's sane. If you're insane or you're retarded, it's fine because it's just like you can go in there and not absorb any of that stuff. But I had a lot of baggage still. And I was lucky enough to have an opportunity with what became Glaxon with Michael in Houston to
well, let's dig into that a little bit. So, well, first of all, so how'd you meet your wife? Who's calling me? People, leave me alone. So how'd you meet your wife? Because you're married and have a kid now, right?
Yeah, I used to live next door to her.
Okay.
Back in the day. So.
Okay. When'd you get married?
We're not actually legally married yet. We're engaged at the moment. We're actually waiting for the fucking license from.
Probably because of ICE. Blame ICE on that.
Fuckers.
And so you have and how old's your daughter? Right.
His son.
Son.
Yeah, Grayson is 4 months.
4 months. Damn. Your world got flipped upside down. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. My life's not boring. That's one thing I'll say. I do it like I'm kind of like an all or nothing kind of person. I'm either going to do nothing or I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. I'm either going to do, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to take all the stuff. I'm going to take nothing. Like I kind of like, moderation is what I'm learning now as I get older. See these gray hairs and stuff. So I'm kind of like
salt, pepper.
Yeah, natural Arctic blonde, natural highlights. But
yeah,
I'm that's why I went
like
out.
that.
You can use that.
Yeah.
I kind of like want to get the moderation thing right now, so that's kind of like learning to.
So how did you get hooked up with Glaxon, and when did all that happen?
So that happened in August of 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
So I left Vegas and I went to Houston. We negotiated, and the idea was to bring back Pitbull Labs because obviously it had like a book of business and stuff. And then Glaxon was like an idea that had been formatted by. Michael, Joey, and TK. In fucking cream soda.
Oh yeah, man, let them rip.
We kind of like refined what they were doing, and we changed it up a little bit. We did a lot of the reason Glaxon's been so successful is because there's a lot of good people involved in it. And there's a lot of different ideas and concepts, and we really we did like multiple different versions of things. So the final product, it was like 6 months in the making. It wasn't just like we just brought it out quickly.
And so. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the questions I asked you earlier. Like, how many people are involved in Glaxon? I swear I feel like there's like 5 or 8 owners of this brand.
Yeah, so Michael and myself are the owners, along with Mark Post, who's come in recently as a new addition, who brings like 30 years of experience.
And then Joey is the
chief scientific officer. He does all the formulas. And then TK is our creative director who, you know, we all put ideas in. And that's the thing. That's what's cool about it is there's a little bit of everyone's energy in the brand, which is what makes it so totally unique and different to anything
And you
else.
guys do your own manufacturing.
Yes, we're vertically integrated. So Michael's business is contract manufacturing. Unfortunately, we don't make any of the core stuff for whatever reason, but you know, I'm joking. We manufacture, brands you do know. Obviously, I'm under NDA, so I can't go into any of that stuff. But there's some good brands out there that we make. Some big ones as well, which you'd be surprised who we just started working with because of relationships I have. So that was kind of the thing. It's kind of like bringing people into the fold and launching a couple of brands. Pitbull will be coming back for that one.
Steve Calabrese calling me.
Yo, Calabrese. So,
we could bring him on the
we brought him on the podcast before, and we're like, say hello to all your fans. He's like, hello from New York City.
Queens. It's always about Queens, you know.
What's the name of the manufacturing? Could you
Zero Day.
Okay.
Zero Day is the name of the co-packer. And then Day One Distribution, Zero Day One is the entity which owns the brands, Glaxon, Pitbull, one or two others we're working on as well. So, yeah.
All right, so Glaxon kind of came out of nowhere.
Yes.
Right? Is having a great year, Core, Glaxon, Ghost, those are the names that get thrown out for brand of the year. You guys are crushing it this year, so congrats on that.
Well done to you guys too.
Thank you. Well, what about
this mutual dick sucking's great.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the whole point of this
like
podcast.
Circle jerking.
Yeah.
So why the rebrand, right? Because right now it looks like you guys deleted your whole Instagram and like, what the heck's going on?
So if you look at the Glaxon labels, and this isn't just a shameless plug, but if you look at the Glaxon labels, there's like movie themes and pop culture references. So Plasma Surge's got like a Terminator vibe to it. Specimen is Aliens from Mars, that movie. The stuff that stuff. That stuff is the Tron, the movie Tron, if you look at the label.
Oh, okay.
Those kind of vibes. Obviously the green's has got like a Warner Brothers movie vibe to it, which we will not name in case someone else tries to license it or something stupid. Why? I don't know why.
Everybody get up.
Yeah.
Bert, can I get
MJ slamming some dingers, but we're kind of looking at like a season 2. So that was season 1. It did very well, but then we needed to do some refinements to make it fully compliant in terms of ingredients, which it was. As we know, as industry people, we know there's a difference between legal and compliant for mass market, because even though those ingredients are legal in the US, for insurance reasons, we can't put it in products, so we need to change things.
And I've always been, my attorneys have always explained it to me, is it's almost, I mean, there are things that are illegal, obviously, like you can't put Bird's cocaine into a pre-workout.
Unless you want to go to jail.
Right, exactly.
I mean, there's some people who we know who are kind of riding some time, but basically doing that.
It's more of a risk assessment. You have a high risk ingredient, a medium risk ingredient, and a low risk ingredient, right? Because they're not, things are not approved, right? Like supplements are not approved by the FDA. Obviously there's, GRAS status and all that, but so there's a blend. There are gray areas in this. And so I'm assuming that's kind of what you're kind of referring to, or?
Yeah. I mean, there's ingredients which are fully legal, but we do know that there are some people who have an adverse event, potentially a serious adverse event, because if you're taking you're drinking 3 bangs a day and then you take a load of Yahimbi in a pre-workout as well, you might have an adverse event to it. So we had to just change it up, make sure that as the company grew and we had more than 9 employees, suddenly Prop 65 became a thing, which we had to factor in, had to relabel that, had to make some tweaks and adjustments. Then international distribution was taken off, so we had to change things.
Get rid of that Yohimbi. You can't put that anywhere.
That's nowhere. But even stupid things like, citrulline in certain markets in Asia is no good. Agmatine in Europe's no good.
Yep.
So all these variables, and you have to kind of go back to the drawing board. So while we were doing that, we thought we might as well just do the season 2 vibe, which we were going to do next year. We might as well just pull it forward to.
So you still sticking pop culture, like movie theme with the season 2, or are you taking it a different direction?
Yes. I mean, most of them, the current SKUs will be SKUs, the current formulas, products. That's what we call it. Sorry, not everyone knows what a stock keeping unit is. But the current products, they're getting like a facelift, so it will be similar, but it would just be a cleaner better quality labels, better quality formulas, better quality flavors. We've just upgraded everything. And then there's going to be some new additions. So obviously there's some gaps in our range. We don't have a protein powder. We don't have a creatine. A few other things we don't have at the moment, multivitamin.
Do you guys manufacture protein?
We don't really do it for other people unless they ask us to, because I'll be the first to say we're not the best. We're not the best at it because we don't have the economies of scale that say, I won't say any names, but the bigger guys who specialize in proteins. As you guys know, there's people who make powders, there's people who make caps, there's people who make liquids, and there's people who make protein. It's almost like its own thing. We do it for some people. And we have, because of a relationship we've actually got some opportunities to unlock some real value in the supply chain, because there's a customer of ours who uses a lot of that raw material, and we can kind of piggyback on the back of it. So, supply chain optimization is something that I used to do before I worked in the industry. So just finding those little like tricks and, hacks, if you like, to get the most out of it. So we will be doing protein. We've been working on it with a few people. I think we've got it like down now. So we have, damn, you're popular, bro.
Man,
CEO, man. Come on, these are deals.
Come on, that was Richmond. I don't know
CEO. So yeah, we will be doing all those things, and protein is something that obviously is still. I mean, it's probably a large percentage of your sales, right? I would say.
It's funny this year. Like Pat tells me every day, bro, I need Death by Chocolate.
We've been out of Death by Chocolate for.
He's like, we're becoming a protein company.
8 weeks on 5 pounds, 6 weeks on 2 pound, and it kills us. Yeah,
I'm just going to say our lead times are 2 weeks, but that's just us. If you're my friend, it's 2 weeks. I'm just saying that.
Usually it is, but it's very quick.
For some reason, I don't know if you guys are experiencing like some shortages in like
our biggest shortages have been plastics driving most of it.
Yeah, we're actually waiting on a load of containers to come in right now for product, because we're actually trying to not push stuff too much because we don't want to run out of bottles. So we're waiting. Yeah, supply chains have been stretched massively by this scamdemic. So
yeah, I joked scamdemic.
Anyone get that? You get that?
Yeah, I caught that.
I like it.
We joked and like we're not a protein company. Like, there's certain brands that are like, they're just a protein brand, right? But like, we're not a protein brand, but we are moving a lot of protein.
That's honestly, I buy your protein, guys. Yeah. I've got the MRE, I got the Pro.
Whoa.
MRP. Sorry.
Bro.
Let's back that up.
Bro.
Never buy MRE.
The Post you've been using a lot. You talk about
Post, that. The blueberry muffin, that might be my favorite tasting product, period.
Yeah, we need to do it in the Pro.
We're working on a Pro version of that right now.
Yeah, the rebrand gave it an opportunity to refresh a lot of the proteins, and the refresh of the flavors and some of the formulas of the proteins have been huge for us. So we did a vegan this year. We're out of 2 of those flavors right now. So
thoughts on, I got a Glaxon question in here for you. Thoughts on Glaxon Hybrid and how it would compare to Core Post to take post-workout. So what is Hybrid? Nothing
like the same, to be honest with you. Hybrid is a hybrid SKU, as the clue's in the name. So Hybrid is a ketones and cluster dextrin and some other good stuff. But it's basically like, if you want the optimum...
Ketones and cluster dextrin, that's quite of a...
It's bizarre, but it's if you were looking for the optimum fuel source, which would be... Ketone salts are another source of fuel.
Sure.
Like, I don't know if you've ever really experimented with them, but they will give you a sick pump, as salt will anyway. It's kind of like it was designed to be, it's one of the most misunderstood SKUs. It's the most expensive SKU we make as well, which doesn't help. But it's one of those products, if you want, like, it's an intra-workout. It's not a post-workout. It's an intra-workout to give you the most cellular energy. It will help your workouts. It does make you hold a little bit of water with the sodium and ketone salts do.
Good pump stuff. That's good.
Good pumps will make you could, if you take too much of it, you will shit yourself because ketone salts and everything. But it's basically like the optimum fuel source. So Post is something I would only advise your customers to take post workout as the name. Like a lot of sugar, a lot of good stuff. But it's
you
great.
Only take it when you work out.
So let's stay there real quick. So I'm going to start I'm going to try to insert some of these questions when we can. Sure. So we went through what happened to Pitbull Labs. We're on Core Post. This person wants to know, if I'm able to eat a meal immediately post-workout, is Core Post still beneficial? And I think this is
if you're able to
having 2 different. So if this person is able to eat a meal immediately post-workout, they're asking, is Core Post still beneficial?
Okay.
I think they're assuming that eating a meal is beneficial post-workout to them.
So for me, for the people who watch this podcast, they've probably heard me talk about post-workout nutrition, right? Like there's the old school will say that it's the anabolic window post-workout. You need to have this. And then the new school says timing doesn't matter for shit. Well, most of those people that say timing doesn't matter for shit and you don't need it, they train like schoolgirls. Pansies, right?
Kitty
like
cats.
they're doing, three sets of one, at their 76.5% of their one, their max rep. And like, you don't need a post-workout when you train like that. If you're training hard, high volume, like your typical, old school bodybuilder, post-workout recovery is so important. So like for me, I would even push off that meal and have my post-workout shake immediately afterwards, including a really fast-acting protein, really fast-acting carbs. In fact, carbs are more important, in my opinion, than protein immediately post-workout. Having things that stimulate protein synthesis, the leucine, velocitol these days, other little, goodies that we put in core post. I think it's super important. But that's me, and that's why we've created core post, because at the end of the day.
Well, we got some good, I want to get into supplement industry questions because you have two different people, right? So two different perspectives.
Well, what do you do post-workout?
So I actually do take post. Trey was good enough to send me a few bottles. I do buy your products, actually.
What the Trey? You just giving shit away?
I outed him. No, I do actually buy. Honestly, even before
I've seen your cabinet.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of core in there because, again, when I know the people behind the brand, I'm sure you're the same way. Yeah. I'm very picky now what I take because I don't want something which is going to make me feel like crap. I don't want something which is fake. I don't want I know the people behind the brands, and that's who I will support.
Yep.
And I'm still a fan of the industry. I still spend hundreds of dollars a month on supplements, even though I have a factory making the fucking stuff, because I want to support the right people and I want to vote with my dollar. And that's what everyone should do in any walk of life about anything. You vote with your dollars. So if you don't like someone's politics, you don't buy their shit. If you don't like what they're saying, don't support them. It's all about pounds, shillings, and pence. So you don't like LeBron, don't buy sneakers. I really like sneakers, but I didn't buy them because it's got his name on it. Okay, end of that little rant. But true story.
I like these little nuggets he's dropping. Yeah. These little.
That's a fart.
Like little nuggets.
Little truth bombs.
Little truth. Yeah.
So this is actually topical because, as you know, I started going to DMV last week, so I'm starting to get serious with my training again because Corona really spanked my ass.
Great gym, man. Didn't I tell you that was an awesome gym?
Leo just hit me up anyways.
DMV is I think outside of Armbrust, it might be the best gym in America. Now, Armbrust is just because it's fucking Armbrust, but like the concept of having the whole leg gym separate, it just keeps the flow. I mean, and I've heard they're doing more expansion.
The in between, so you have the upper body side and the leg side. Now they took over the middle.
Yes.
So they're going to have about 15,000.
Are they tearing walls down in the middle, or you just got to go out?
No, I heard they're just going to keep them separate because of the laws where you can only have so many people now with the Corona. This is how to keep it. It's a good
that's
little
cool.
workaround. Yeah. So very, very clever thinking there. So I live about 12 minutes away from that gym. My wife, my fiance, my better half, should we say? She likes to cook.
Your side chick.
Yeah, my side. She likes to cook while I'm out. So I'll come home and the food will be ready.
Yeah.
I still drink the shake.
Yep.
I put a little bit of collagen in with it and some creatine with the post, just because I like those kind of things. Creatine's not for everyone. I take that and then I'll eat the meal about 25 minutes later. And again, I think honestly, when I come out of working out, I'm usually kind of hyperglycemic feeling.
Totally.
Which, because I've worked out.
Right.
Now, if I've gone in and I've done like a pussy workout, then I probably don't need the carbs. But
exactly.
I need it. My body's like literally like clucking. It's like, like jonesing for like some carbs and stuff. So I would always have the liquid and then just postpone the meal 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah. I do the same. But I even sometimes, I'll even wait a little bit longer than that. I'll go an hour. Usually
I'm usually full after drinking a shake for a good hour. Now, I think that the science behind peri-workout now, pre-intra, it depends on what you did before and after and during.
Exactly.
So if you're training fasted first thing in the morning, you better drink that shake post-workout.
Yep.
You really better.
And for me, I don't like carbs during my training. I just never felt, and I've experimented a little bit, but I haven't gone because it wasn't, I eat so many carbs pre-workout, a good hour and a half before I train, and I have a ton post-workout. So for me, I just like to do, like core ABC, like just aminos during my training. But I never got into the intra-workout carb thing. So
I like cluster dextrin, the original Glycofuse before they messed it up.
Yep.
Was amazing, the pumps I used to get, but it's very, very hard now to find a dedicated cluster dextrin product. The only one I can think of is NutriBio Supercarb. Off the top of my head, that's the only one I can think of, and it's not readily available everywhere. It's very expensive as well. So I would take that. I know you guys have an intra product as well.
Yep. So we are in the process of, so the ribose in there, 5 grams of ribose, literally clumped and turned everything brown.
Yes.
You know, the product is still effective. It still tastes decent, but it definitely even changed the taste. Yeah. So we're, you know, ribose, you know, in theory should help with ATP production and other things. It's a really cool carb. It's a very expensive carb, sugar. So, you know, just kind of pooling our, you know, our retailers and our customers, you know, the best idea for us was to remove it. So we're tweaking it. We're upping the cluster dextrin, and we're going to add some Elevate ATP, some other things that will support the ATP side of it, and then just get rid of the ribose. Because at the end of the day, you know this, taste and consumer experience, you know, mouthfeel and all that is so important. If you don't get that right, that's like, it doesn't matter how good your formula is.
Formula is almost secondary to flavor and aesthetics now in terms of, again, trust me, I understand it. I don't want to be drinking some brown stuff, which is not meant to be brown. Hygroscopic ingredients, there's lots of them. I think it's Hydromax in there as well, isn't there?
There is 2 grams. Yep.
Yeah, well, that alone can clump. So, you know.
And we thought, you know, maybe that's an issue, but we have, I don't want to say perfected, but like our use of glycerol products has been great. We have not had any clumping. I mean, we have Stars and Pipes, which is 5 grams of glycerol in like a 20-gram serving, and it doesn't clump at all. It's like it's like a fine powder. So it's all about the pre-blending and the multiple steps, and and you use the wrong type of silica, you know, like calcium silica versus calcium silicate versus like those little type of things you find out are wrong. So we've actually done a good job with that. So I mean, it's a 40-some gram serving. So I was like, 2 grams of Hydromax is not clump. It's got to be ribose. And then we ran some samples without it, and sure enough, it was definitely the ribose. So
problem solved.
Yep.
I got a couple questions for Sam.
All right.
Trey has a question.
Thanks for that post.
What's Sam's favorite part about living in the USA? He puts the American flag. Living in America. Not ice.
Yes, not ice. I mean, but that's the thing. I can be objective enough about something to not. That wasn't Donald Trump who did that to me. That wasn't America which did that to me. That was just us. It turns out
that was a system.
That wouldn't happen anymore because they got in trouble for it. It turned out they were getting paid $400 a day for me being in there, and that's why they did it. And then they've got rid of that now. That wouldn't happen if that same thing happened now. That wouldn't happen.
Whoa, what happened? Why were they getting paid?
They were getting paid by the federal government for holding me. So it was like a scam. That's the problem. The system. You shouldn't have for-profit jail systems. That's not what it's about. It should be. It's not a business. It's a fucking cure for a problem, which is a disease called criminality in society. Anyway, my favorite part about America, I think, is the opportunity. The American dream is still alive. I don't think it's the same as it was 30, 40 years ago, where you could come over like with nothing and end up being a multimillionaire. But I do believe if you work hard and you have talent, and that's the key thing, you have to have talent too, but talent has to work hard at the same time. I think you can have anything you want over here, and you can be whoever you want, and people are very open to new ideas, and they're not so set in their ways.
But apparently now everyone deserves that, right?
Well, let me explain this to you. Equality of opportunity is not the same as equality of outcome, okay? That's called communism, which everyone gets a shit outcome. That's not the same thing.
Yes, that's 100% true. Everyone should, no matter what their race, religion, you know, class, creed, anything, should have the same opportunity. It's just sometimes the outcome's different because somebody has more talent, more drive, more work ethic than the other person.
Luck is a factor as well. It's a thing. You make your own luck. I truly believe that. So, you know, if you're working 16 hours a day, you're probably going to get more luck than if you're working 2 hours a day.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of variables. Society, you know, like it's to do with talent, work ethic, IQ, all these variables which people don't want to talk about. So.
Yeah. All right, quick break.
I'm reading this question. You said post-rebrand Glaxon would like to release a creatine supplement, but isn't hybrid kind of a creatine supplement because of the 1.5 grams of creatine HCl? So could you take it without the carbs? Not exactly sure what that question is.
So I think I'm going to assume that what you mean is that you're saying that that's a creatine product. I don't think 1.5 grams is enough. I think you're going to need at least 3 to 5 to saturate the muscles, even with the HCl version. So it was not intended as a creatine. Creatine is a fuel source, as we know, like ATP, etc. So that's why it was in that product. I didn't formulate that product, just full disclosure. So like I'm just speculating on what they were thinking when they formulated that one. Me personally, I would like to design a creatine matrix post-workout with some, insulin mimicker type ingredients. So, your typical like Jet Mass, that kind of product, like a good tasting creatine product with CreaPure, the most studied probably ingredient in sports nutrition, which is creatine monohydrate. I do like the Platinos bonded Outlast CR. I think that's a cool concept, but with the 10-gram serving size, you're only getting 3 grams of creatine and 7 grams of Platinos, so it's kind of like a little bit, expensive.
Mm-hmm. And you were hitting out with some like GDA type ingredients in there, maybe?
Yeah, maybe some insulin mimicker type GDAs, but obviously with it.
They taste like butthole. They taste like butthole.
Yeah, they taste like spicy butthole. So
yeah,
spicy. So yeah, GDAs, botanicals. I try and keep botanicals out of powders because it's just, it's 2020, dudes. We can't be drinking this shit anymore. Now I'll drink something for efficacy all day long because I come from this generation as you two do, where I'll chug this shit just to get jacked. Okay?
Yeah.
Kids these days don't want to be jacked. They don't want to look like Jay Cutler anymore. They want to look like Conor McGregor, so they ain't going to drink something unless it tastes like liquid Kool-Aid. So.
Yeah. Yep. What you got at me? What you got in there?
Back at Sam. What's the weirdest thing you've seen Joey Savage put together and then put into his body?
Put into his body?
I mean, Joey experiments with DMT, dimethyltryptamine. So if you know what that is, I've done it. Not with Joey, never with Joey, but I've done it. I mean, I don't know. The weirdest thing I've ever seen Joey do is like try and like teach squirrels to do stuff.
Squirrels?
Yeah, trying to
like the animal.
Pavlovian conditioning on squirrels. Yeah. Yeah, for real. That's the thing that happened.
I don't know.
I gotta meet this Joey guy. I don't know.
Hey, we can bring him here.
Yeah,
we can bring him here if you want me to. We can do the next like meeting with Glaxon and tell them all to fly into.
Are you guys going to this TNS Christmas party in December?
Yeah, we've definitely been invited to it. So
yeah. I bet that's going to be an interesting time.
Yeah,
I think Dan might even be there.
Dan
from Ghost.
From Ghost.
Oh, the legend.
Yeah.
Cool.
The legend.
The legend in his own living room. Awesome.
All right, moving on, mate.
All right, training questions. Best advice for a teenager, 17, wanting to take bodybuilding to a pro level.
Well, there's only one pro here, so let's ask him.
Don't do it. I mean, honestly.
17-year-old Doug. I mean, that's when you started training. Right?
I understand, but like to take it to a pro level, I'm assuming you mean like IFBB pro.
That's what we assume.
You pretty much have to, and this is my opinion, right? Like I understand some people will want to do this at all costs, but like you're pretty much guaranteeing shortening your life by many, many years.
20 years. Yeah,
20 years. So if you are mentally okay with that, right, which you might be at 17, but when you're 35 and have, a wife and kids and family, your perspective on things change and you're probably going to end up regretting a lot of that stuff. So, it's hard to see when you're a 17-year-old, but, keep it as a hobby because for most people, bodybuilding doesn't pay the bills.
There's more to life than bodybuilding.
Yeah.
When I was that age as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to look like Jay and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even Jay told me he didn't want to get that big. When I've had dinner with him, he didn't want to get that big. He had to because that's what the stage dictated. But he looks better now than when he competed.
Yeah.
And that's
way healthier for sure.
Healthier. That's why he's aged so much better than certain other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Era, so.
Okay. So that one guy that always comes in here talks about the cockhead?
Yes.
All right. So he's got a question for you.
The cockhead.
When was your first kiss?
Where is the cuckhead?
And sex.
Oh, right here. What? Have you met Carl? So this is our general manager. We made air fresheners of his face.
He doesn't look like that right now.
I thought that was Jim Carrey, to be honest with you, bro.
Yeah, he loves Jim Carrey. He can do a good impression.
I really thought that was Jim Carrey. I'm not bullshitting.
He would actually take that as a compliment.
Yeah, because he was about to.
If we could say you need to shave the entire face
he doesn't look anything like this now.
He's got hair and a beard.
But like this is known as a cuckhead. And just to be clear, this isn't like a cuckold. This is cuck. C-U-C.
How did that even come into cuckold?
Because some people think that's what we're talking about, but his name is Cuck, which stands for Creepy Uncle Carl, because he loves kids and like he was
whoa.
Creepy.
He loves kids. You can't just say that.
Yeah, okay, well, let me get there.
He likes kids' toes.
Like he loves kids' toes and like playing with kids' toes, but not in like a creepy pedophile kind of way, just like your creepy Uncle Carl kind of way.
It's kind of pedophile-ish sounding.
Okay,
but it's accepted now. It's all good.
Maybe a little bit of that, right?
It's got a foot fetish for kids. That's kind of like a little bit like, okay, all right.
So anyway, oh shit, Carl's on here. He goes, let's snuggle. He goes,
You're not doing anything to make
he
this
goes,
better. Carl.
I'm a real leader.
tickling.
Look at this, tickle the cuck.
You are not doing anything to make this better for yourself.
Love
Let's
me some
snuggle.
cuck.
Okay, so cuck.
Yeah. Anyways,
And this one guy who comes in, he's always in the question.
he's always talking about the cuckhead.
the cockhead.
He calls it
call it
cockhead.
cockhead. So he wants to know, when was your first kiss and sex?
Bro, I'm not answering that. Like, it wasn't with my wife, so like, there's nothing good that could come out of that, right? Like, that's the dumbest question ever. Next,
I wouldn't say dumb.
there's just no.
You can just give an age.
Carl says I like Doug's toes.
I'm still a virgin, so you know.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
Even after jail, still a virgin. That's
Definitely an anal virgin. So just that virginity is never going to be taken. So even by a woman.
exit
so.
only. Exit only.
What is it with women in the butthole these days? Like, leave that alone. Come on.
oh, I won't even go into that. That was going to a deep dark place. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
All right, we got a couple more questions. Otherwise, Bird's going to kill us for going this long.
General tips and supplements for better digestion of meals. Why are you both staring at me like deep?
I mean,
Was that a question?
Did
I not-
products?
Well, I'll
They
tell
want
you
general
what.
tips for and supplements.
I'll tell you
for
what.
better
Core
digestion.
greens, and you know, I don't use the Glaxon greens, but you might speak to this the same way. Ever since I added core greens, which has, you know, a good probiotic, has full greens, has the fiber aspect, my poop is glorious. My poop is like regular. Every morning I eat breakfast, and then within 5 minutes, it's just like a glorious, massive dump. I mean, it's just,
One sheeter.
oh, bro, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like 5 pounds of just doom.
Jeez.
But it's amazing.
Jeez, dude. I don't know if this is glorious. This sounds like a nightmare.
I mean, it's actually kind of like the highlight of my day, or at least one of them.
And when we're traveling, and he doesn't get his morning poo,
He knows when we're traveling, and I don't get the poo before I go out the door.
I'm the handler. So I gotta make sure, you know, we get, you know.
Like a child. Did you eat? Did you shit?
Right.
Oh, totally.
Take your morning poo today.
What do you think about? All right. What do you think about BPN's supplements? Crazy growth. It's a random.
Do you know what it is?
No, BPN. Do you know BPN?
Bear Performance.
Bear. What's it?
The
Bear.
marine guy.
Yeah.
Nick Bear.
Yeah, he's from
What's the
Austin.
product called?
What's that?
What's the product called? I'm gonna look it up. I don't know what it is.
Oh no, just all their brand has blown up.
Oh, I thought it was a specific
He's done a
product.
great job of creating like a first form cult. You know,
The
like
gym I used to go to, a lot of his athletes worked out at Alpha Elite in Houston
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he's from that kind of greater between Austin and Houston, about like an hour, 20 minutes away from each other. So there's a lot of catchment areas. It's like a cult. Yeah, it is. And again, you can't knock the guy. His physique, his background, his story, the marathons, lifts heavy weights. Like the guy's a fucking beast. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's the same thing I would say with First Form. One is like, I don't think they have the greatest labels. I don't think they have the greatest formulas. I don't think they have the greatest flavors, but they do a good job in all those areas. But the culture and the community they've built is next level.
Oh, no one's on there. Like, First Form is like,
Yeah.
Anyone who takes it, they will never take anything else.
Yeah.
And they will tell you, it's like being vegan. They will just tell you about it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And that's some great marketing. And again, the people behind those brands, you can't knock them. You know, no one's got a bad word to say about them.
Yeah.
So
That's about all I got on the question side.
Word.
You know, there's some questions specific to like core and stuff like that, but we
We do, since this is our podcast, you got to give them the quick update of what's dropping on Monday real quick before we go. Z's, you want to grab it there? Oh,
dude,
bro, it hit.
I'm nervous about that.
Oh, bro. All right,
Is it
let's
cracked?
call it 911.
I think you fucked it.
It totally called 911.
How?
We might have. What? That was. You've never had an emergency call?
Is your phone okay? Did it?
I think you cracked it.
I legit just called 911.
How did it?
It fell down and called 911.
How did it even?
I
call
guarantee you
911?
they'll be calling back.
Damn, that's me going back to ice.
Bro,
because
dude, it's
you,
your fault.
I'm going back to ice.
Bro, they're totally.
That's weird.
They're totally following you. Doug literally shits like a bear. If he and a bear were shitting side by side, the bear would high five Doug. That's Carl. He's a special one. So Core Z's next week is dropping. That's the new formula. So we remove Phenibut. Benefit.
Yeah, that's a good benefit.
That's a good.
We remove Phenibut to be a little bit more compliant, which is And Phenibut does have a druggy feel to it. Like, it knocks me out a little bit.
Speaking of Joey Savage, he has a thing on Fridays. He calls them Fenny Fridays, and he makes everyone in the office Phenibut stuff.
Like, how much Phenibut stuff?
Quite a bit.
Yeah, we have.
So that sounds like a fun time.
Yeah.
He's got certain days of the week where he's just going to whip up
What does he look like?
sketch.
I'm envisioning kind of like a nerdy, skinny, like.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't say he's skinny, but he another thing he does, he takes 3 grams of niacin a day.
Just for the fun of it.
Well, niacin can be healthy, right?
Well,
like,
it's cholesterol. He thinks it's anti-aging. He walks around like a beetroot. He loves it. I mean, like, listen, like, if niacin's very healthy for you, it's releasing, stuff into the bloodstream from stored in fat cells. That's that kind of flush feeling. But yeah, he calls them Fenny Fridays, so he still has a little stash of his own personal stuff, not in the manufacturing facility before anyone asks. That's Joey's own personal consumption.
Stacks great with Tren.
Yeah.
It's great.
Dude,
so
just
yeah,
put
this
that
thing.
up.
No, it's good.
See you later.
We're good. No. So Core Z's. Oh, I'm gonna delete this in a second. Anyways, it's all good.
I'm worried for your phone.
Here, bro.
And 911.
Core Z's drops. So we got rid of the Phenibut. We added 5-HTP. Still great formula. Best flavor we've ever done in our sleep product. Dropping Monday.
Really good. Drops on Monday. Do we have a deal?
We definitely have a deal with it. It's a Hard Extreme with the Hard
that
Extreme.
Is a great deal.
So Hard Extreme, our anti-cortisol, has some anti-estrogens. It's the powdered version of our most popular product, which is Core Hard.
It's that stack for $69, isn't it? Or
$79.99. And coupons do apply. So like that's your deal.
That's juice.
That's a sick deal. So anyways, that's dropping Monday. Anything else for Sam? You got anything else for Sam, the Glaxon boy?
I don't have anything.
Sam, do you have any final thoughts? This was I appreciate your time. This is a great story. I didn't know that much about you, and I'm kind of excited to try some Glaxon product that you dropped off today.
Yeah, and I will be getting you like more stuff, the new stuff, because I haven't even got it yet. It's gone out to a few retailers. Your stores do have it, but
so if you're in the Virginia area and you want to try the Glaxon products, nutritioncorners.com. Carl would yell. See, you like that shout out, Carl, for the Nutrition Corners?
So you were living in Houston, kind of right next to you were at the facility pretty much on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
And then you moved up here.
How's that transition, right? Because if I need something, I just walk out in the back and just grab whatever I need.
Yeah,
obviously invoice myself, but
I mean, certain people didn't want to live in Houston, who shall remain nameless. So I had no choice but to to be here. And honestly, it's a beautiful area, and Houston is. I'm kind of done living in huge mega cities. Like, Houston's the 3rd largest city in the U.S. now. That's great with some of this, there's some interesting culture and stuff down there, but, it's just too much for me. I don't want to be dealing with the traffic. I don't want to be dealing with millions of people on a daily basis. So, I'm blessed that I'm able to do my job remotely. I will have to go there on a regular basis. But
you're right next to an airport. So
yeah, there's two good airports.
Yeah.
There's Javi, and then there's obviously Bush International. It just means I'm going to have to wait a little bit. Our strategic planning has to be better now for me. So if I need something for a podcast, I should probably put that order in.
I'm pretty sure we're like last minute, right? Like we didn't have this planned for weeks at a time.
No, this is totally organic. This is literally like, hey, you're down the road, come up here, and you had no idea what I was going to talk about. I didn't know what you guys were going to talk about, and this is the.
How long was the drive? 40 minutes?
30 minutes.
Yeah. Dude, you're welcome anytime. Come train.
Yeah, I'll definitely come into if you guys haven't seen, I don't think the Instagram does it justice when you see pictures of it, because it's spaced out. So it's not like, wow, this is a huge space. The machines in here are pretty elite level. I'm looking forward to using some. I might even go use some later today, actually.
Get a little pump, yeah.
Well, I want to try it. I have not tried the Fury. I've not tried the pump. I've not tried.
Bro, I think we're gonna need to take a little chill on the caffeine today for you, though, bro.
I drank it all.
That's good, right?
Oh
yeah. I mean, I was kind of one more. So
what's that? 2, 4, 6.
6 plus his own 750. Out of Fury, it's like 375. Oh, you're
gram.
Yeah, that's a little.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get a pump.
No.
Tomorrow, I'll take it tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. It was great meeting you, learning more about you. You're welcome anytime. So, guys. Till next time.
Let's pause for the.
Oh yeah, what are we gonna do?
Say till next time, and then we can just.
What are we gonna do? No, we gotta do something.
We gotta do like a screenshot. What do you got? Any suggestions?
A screenshot.
Yeah, like for the cover photo of the YouTube and the.
Well, he should have a Glaxon product. What do you think?
Nah, we don't need a Glaxon product.
We could stack a.
How about we do a Cheers energy drink?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, ready? Hold on. We're gonna put it out here. Get it in there. America. Hold on. There you go. All right. Now can I do the sign off?
Do what you want.
Till next time, keep crushing it.
Just like that.
That's it.